Hello, it's another Friday, and I'm happy it's Friday. Um, I'll ask, how was your week? Well, this week was beautiful because I celebrated my birthday on Wednesday, so nice one. Well, welcome to another awesome time at My Closet 101. I am your host, Brown Wachinemelu. You can call me Michael if Wachinemelu is really difficult for you to call. Now, if we check your time, yes, because we have viewers from all over the world. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm saying good morning to all our viewers in the US, Canada, Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico, and Peru. And it's also afternoon in Africa. Actually, in West Africa, it's 2 p.m. In Central African time, it's 3 p.m. So I'm saying good afternoon to all my African brothers, especially those on the West Coast, and Nigeria, Botswana, Burundi, Egypt, Libya, Rwanda, and South Africa. It's also 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, so I'm saying good evening, namaste, to all Asia. Now, this is My Closet 101. If this is your first time of joining, it is where we talk about is a live coaching show that gives people the platform to ask questions that have been locked in the closet of their minds. Also, a one-on-one avenue for people to freely interact, express their inner thoughts without being judged, where everyone can learn from different experiences, opinions, not only permitted to talk about successes, victories, but also our failures and our mistakes. Today we're starting the show with a story, but before then, I think let me quickly introduce my guest. I have beautiful people today that will be joining us. Yes, I'm really excited about one though. Yes, she's actually born in Platmore, Maryland. She's a reverend, a nurse, a filmmaker, and also a counselor. Been depressed, anxiety for 30 years of migraine headaches and pains. Pain went away of life until she was asked the perfect question, what do you do with shame? Studying, she silently went into a mission, sorry. She shares her 15 years experience as a shame guilt educator, counselor, and filmmaker to give us an effective and lasting way to health, wellness, and spiritual maturity. She has lifelong background in health. She began as a nurse aide at 12 and continued today at 76. She also has an experience in several spiritual encounters that began with a near death in childhood from physical abuse. Her passion and mission are to help each one of us involved in self-love and elevating the self-suffering caused by shame and guilt. She's a beautiful, hot, and permit me to use the word sexy grandmother with three amazing, hot, sexy daughters, with three cute, handsome grandsons, and a wonderful, handsome, and amazing partner. Her name is Louis Hollis. Hi, Louis. Good to have you on the show. And tell your partner I saw him. Tell him I said hello.
Okay.
All right. Good. I have another guest. She's been also on Mind Closet 101. She's a storyteller. She's a writer, a blogger, filmmaker, content developer, yes, ghost writer, marketing, communication, and media production consultant, a chartered marketer, content creator, can also help you build your business online. make your business, make money online. Studied at Nigerian Industrial University, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Orange Academy and Chartered Institute of Marketing. In 2011, she was overall best graduating student, graduating student, Orange Academy Integrated Brand Experience. Best advert pitch, Gino tomato paste advert project. Yes, best presentation, 5 minutes company pitch. In 2015, she also won Manager of the Year and Staff of the Year 2015 Rhapsody of Reality. Sorry, pardon me for that. She's married to Pastor Stanley Onyebum with two handsome boys, Inkem and Okedema. She speaks Igbo, English, and French fluently. Her name is Mrs. Obiamaka Onyebum. Hi, Obiamaka. Welcome to another time with us. Your mic is actually mute, so you have to.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I've done that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Now I have another special person. I'm excited to have him on my show. Wow. Well, at 5 he started losing his sight to rhinitis pigmentosa. Was pronounced legally blind at the age of 12 and totally blind after graduating from college. Growing up in a family of carnival owners, all he ever wanted to do was to continue in his father's and grandfather's footsteps and to be part of the family business. He did help in the business over the years, but couldn't sustain it after the early death of his father, who had lung cancer. He then turned to helping people sell their amusement equipment on his website. This led him into blogging, which turned his life around when he discovered his talent and purpose in life. Today, I celebrate him because he's a blogger award winner, inspirational self-help author, motivational speaker, podcast talent agent, and also the host of the podcast, What's Your Excuse? He says, if I can't do it, then what's your excuse? Please let me introduce the mind blogger, Maxwell Avell Jr. Hi, Max.
Hi, Michael. It's good to be talking with you this morning. And
Same.
just a couple of things come to mind. I'm the only person here who isn't a filmmaker, and if it wasn't for that award, I wouldn't have come to your attention. So I'm going to have to send the lady who put that publication together a thank you.
All right. Good. Thank you. It's good to have you. It's a pleasure to host you guys. Today we're talking about the evolution of gratitude. Okay. In the English culture, they say ladies first. So let me start with Lewis. Reverend Lewis.
Thank you.
I know you're a therapist and also a reverend and nurse, but let me get to understand what gratitude is all about from the therapy section.
Okay. Gratitude opens the door to love. And in therapy, I believe the most goal for all therapists is to have the person embrace the love of themselves. And that's easier said than done. But gratitude, yeah, we would all be perfect if we said, I love myself, and it'd be real.
True.
Gratitude is so powerful because it incorporates the mind, the emotions, and our soul. So that's where we get the extra boost in therapy or in any walk of life, because we're incorporating our soul's energy rather than just doing forgiveness, which forgiveness is more of the mind. It tends to be more mind oriented. Gratitude brings in that extra element of our soul or God's presence, because we are grateful for being. So I encourage my patients or clients to find that gratitude, even though it's very, very minor. It takes them out of a stage that they're very negative in. Now, how do you find gratitude when everything's fallen apart? Well, we can start at a very small level. We can be grateful for even being alive. We have this beautiful human being body and soul that we've been gifted with. We have a gift. In fact, the human species is the most coveted species in the whole universe.
Yeah.
To be human is a gift.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to use our gift, but we are gifted with our humanness. That's a good place to start. Also, I help people find the gratitude by connecting with their own emotions. If they are angry, if they're upset, or they don't care, they can write to that emotion. Hi, anger. Hi, depression. Hi, I don't care. Hi, I am miserable. Whatever word comes to you, say hi to you. Thank you. Thank you so, so very much for coming to talk with me. That's where the gratitude starts. Thank you, anger. Not many people do that, but really it's the anger that needs to talk to you. So you're thanking them for coming to you and telling me the problem. The other part of anger, the positive part, is passion. So you're just seeing the negative part of passion. If you talk to depression, depression is the negative part of compassion. So once you talk to yourself and the emotions are leading you, you start to become grateful. So that's one way I can help them find the gratitude, which then will eventually turn into self-love.
All right. I'll be back. I think I just lost Obiamaka. Okay, she's back. Now, Obiamaka, you need to unmute your mic, remember? I want you to give me the definition of gratitude on the spiritual angle when it comes to Christianity.
Okay. Hello. Thank you so much. Gratitude is a state of the mind. Okay. It's a state of being. Something that Louis also mentioned. When the Bible says, in everything, give thanks.
Amen.
It also means that gratitude is a choice. Gratitude is a choice. You can choose in a circumstance to be grateful or not to be grateful. And how does being grateful come about? It's by being aware. You become aware that I have a choice to make in this situation. And then I look for the positive points that I can appreciate. Now, gratitude is a state of the mind and it's expressed through your emotions. For example, I received something and I'm really thankful. How do I show I'm thankful?
Yeah.
I'm smiling and I either send a thank you note or I say thank you verbally. Now, what if I encounter something that is not so pleasant? What do? I look for the positive aspect. Louis said something very important. Being alive is enough to be grateful for. So I turn my focus to the things, I become aware to the things that are working for me right now, the things I can see that are working for me right now, and I begin to give God thanks for them. And when I start on that note, my entire attitude changes and I have more things to be grateful for and to be thankful for. So gratitude starts from being a state of the mind, and then walks you through your emotions, and then you express it verbally, in most times to God for what he has done. And even when you can't see what is happening to be good, you make a choice to look for the good in it, for the positivity in it, and give thanks for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Max, what's your definition of gratitude?
Well, I agree with the other two ladies that it does start with God and being thankful for creation, and being thankful for being alive. But when I think of gratitude, I think that people lose the opportunity to be grateful because they are waiting for the big goal or the big accomplishment that they can celebrate with the crazy party, instead of celebrating, appreciating, giving thanks for everything that happens along the way. I noticed in your introduction you said that we are here to talk about the setbacks and the struggles as much as the successes. And in my opinion, gratitude is one of those things you have to make it a practice where you are grateful for the good and the bad, because they all have something to teach us. And I find that for most people, they have trouble with gratitude because they've never done it before. They haven't practiced it in their lives. And I encourage people to start small and start by actually making a list at the end of the day. Sit down with a pen and paper or an open file on your computer and write down one thing that you can be grateful for that day. Every time you do it, you're going to get better at it. You're going to see more and more things you can be grateful for, because gratitude, the wonderful thing about it is the more you count your blessings, the more they grow. And
True.
being grateful is a decision. And like anything else, once we decide that we have something to be thankful for, we're going to find those things, those people, persons, and events that have come into our life during the day, many of which we ignore because they're not big, shiny, flashy things or people, but they had an impact on our life for good or for bad. Or maybe we didn't even notice them, but if we sit down and think about them and make a list, we can be grateful. And I like to tell people that finding something to be thankful for is like finding anything else. You decide it's there somewhere, and you keep looking for it until you find it. So just like trying to find your car keys or your smartphone, when it comes to being grateful, you have to decide that you have had something in your day to be grateful for. You have to make a conscious effort to find it. And then you have to celebrate it, no matter how small it may seem at the moment.
All right, Max, let me ask you, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for being able to share my story and to encourage other people. I'm grateful for the fact that even though I abused my body with food for over 30 years, that I am physically in good health and not suffering pain like so many people are. I'm grateful that my financial needs are being met, and that I have the ability to refuse the popular wisdom that if I'm not making 6, 7, or 9 figures, that I'm a failure. I'm grateful just for meeting you and these other two wonderful ladies, because the people that come into our lives, they can change us for the better if we allow them. But we have to keep our hearts and our minds open. So I'm grateful for God and for the patience and understanding that He's given me, because those are gifts of the Holy Spirit that allow me to see people in a way that maybe sighted people don't see them. So I'm grateful for my generous spirit and my willingness to see people, to see people expecting them to be good as opposed to expecting them to do harm. Just so many things to be grateful for. But I've got, half a lifetime of experience of finding things to be grateful for in my life, even on days when it seemed like there was nothing to be grateful for.
Wow. Lewis,
Yes.
tell me what you're grateful for.
My main gratitude is that I am old enough to do my job that God gave me. I'm healthy enough to do it. And I'm so grateful that God gave me a job to do. That is my biggest gratitude. And also with the years, I've been able to say I'm grateful for the pain, physical and emotional, that I have been through, because it really deepened the ability for my heart to love deeper. Without being injured with the pain of emotions that people have caused, or it happened, or a pain, a physical pain, I wouldn't have the depth of feeling or the compassion for others so deeply that I enrich in my own life and enrich in others' lives. And of course, I'm grateful for my family. But the main thing is I'm grateful God gave me a job and I'm able to do it. That's my biggest gratitude.
Hi, good morning. We've got a little bit of technical difficulty here with your host. I am the co-producer of some of these shows, but I'm also the co-founder of IBM TV. Thank you for being so patient and sharing your stories. I've been listening. So, how are you doing? Surprise! But anyway, we'll wait until he gets back. But so all of you are sharing what the meaning of life, right? And some fabulous stories. And we can just continue on. There he is. He's back.
Whoa. Thanks, Kim.
You beamed back.
Hey, buddy.
And I
Good.
wanted to add. Is that okay?
I can't complain. I got.
I wanted to add that I'm grateful to God for putting the people in my path that that helps the job go along, because I couldn't think this. God is much smarter, and I'm so grateful that He puts people in the path that I'm supposed to connect with, and for that I'm extremely grateful, as all of you understand. It's just so beautiful to watch, and that gives me great joy and honor and love. But it always wasn't that way. I was just happy to be alive, and I had some pills to take to get rid of the pain. So my gratitude has changed over the years.
Wow. Now, Obiamaka, it's your turn. Tell us what you're grateful for. Hello, can you still hear us? Yeah. Okay. Network. I think our network is a bit okay. We can hear you. Okay. I think our network is terrible.
I'm sorry.
Try log in. Try sign out and come in again. I think it will help.
The beauty of so many people connecting via Zoom and StreamYard, these other platforms, and becoming closer in a way they never did when they could see each other face to face is sometimes
Yeah.
it just gets overwhelmed.
It's true. It's true. That's true. Well, let me start by saying I'm grateful. Actually, I'm grateful to God for life. I'm grateful that I was being born to this earth, because I believe I have a purpose in which I'll fulfill. I'm grateful for the people around me, my wife, friends, my guests on the IBM TV as well. I'm grateful for the fresh air that we do breathe, because some are actually in the hospital living with oxygen. Yeah, but
Okay, I'm grateful for
good. Go
a
ahead.
lot of things. First
Mhm.
and foremost, I'm grateful for my relationship with God. I'm grateful for my salvation. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I don't think she can hear us.
I think so.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Oh, okay. There's a delay in the sound, so just keep talking. When you're done, I'll say it, and we'll continue from there.
Can you, okay. Okay.
I
May I,
think.
may I
I think.
suggest sending her a message so she knows when it's her turn?
Yeah, she's still talking, but I think she got freezed. She just got freezed now. Well, let's to go on. When she's back, she'll tell us. She'll go ahead with why she's grateful. Max, I hope you're not offended if I ask you this. Despite your disability, you're still grateful. Why?
Uh, could you repeat the question? I didn't catch the last part of it.
Okay, I said, despite your disability that's been blind, but you're still grateful. Why?
You know, I I think part of it is because I've never been told that I should be ungrateful or angry. I mean, over the years, it's just become part of who I am. It's another part along with my height and weight and eye color. So uh, once you once you realize it's something you can do nothing about, then the question is, how do you accept it and live with it? And I was blessed to grow up in a family of people who were doers, who didn't have a lot of time for self pity. I attended schools where the teachers were very encouraging. I was part of a scouting troop for visually impaired boys where I was encouraged to try new things and challenge myself. So over the years, instead of thinking about, oh, heck, the world's coming to an end because someday I'm going to lose my vision, it was, well, Max, let's think about you being part of the family and doing whatever it is you can do or whatever it is you love doing. And, I was blessed to be able to be part of a family business that I still love, but can't be part of anymore for 15 years. I've been blessed to help a lot of people who needed help to sell used carnival equipment so they could buy newer stuff or retire or support their children or take care of a medical issue. So I've been blessed to encourage other people because, frankly, I think a lot of times people will listen to me when I say the same thing you say, or one of our other, amazing women that's on this call with us say, but they'll listen to me because of the blindness. So I think that, that God gave me an advantage in that my vision loss allows me to do things other people would be afraid of. It allows me to see people in ways that sighted people won't see them. And it allows me to encourage people in a way that somebody that doesn't have a disability can. I say the same thing you say, and it has a different impact because, as you mentioned in the beginning, a lot of people have said, if Max can do it, then what's my excuse? And I don't think of myself as anything special. I'm just a guy who showed up every day, worked hard, has learned a bunch of new things, has fell down and failed a whole heck of a lot more than he succeeded. But because I'm willing to share those experiences and the lessons I've learned from them openly and honestly and don't care what people think about me when I do it, I have become a person who encourages and inspires and challenges other people. And that wouldn't be possible without the vision loss. So if you think about things in the right way, as I mentioned earlier, anything can be a positive. Anything can be something to be grateful for, but it may take you a few years. It may even take you a few decades to get to the point where you understand it all and can articulate it and can live with it. So, yeah, vision loss is hard. Losing my vision as I was most going from partial loss to legally blind as I was going through puberty. That's not fun. You're losing your voice, your body's changing, and your vision is going. That's not fun. But it's all affected me and become part of me. And the one thing that losing my vision gradually did teach me that has been a great asset today is, since I was constantly having to adapt to new levels of vision, I am a very flexible, adaptable, problem-solving type person. And as you well know, in our online world and in the world in general, where things change from minute to minute sometimes, being able to adapt to situations is a very good ability to have.
Wow. Honestly, I'm inspired with what you just said now, because some people with your kind of disability will be like, being disabled, want to look for who to blame, probably say, why did God let them come into this world, or blame their parents, blame the society, blame the government. If able people can think about this and look for who to put blame on, I'm surprised why you don't want to do that, but rather you're grateful. And honestly, Max, I'm grateful having you on my show, because I knew you're going to touch a lot of lives.
Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity to meet you and get to know you in a way. One of the primary reasons why I do conversations like this is to meet other people, to have conversations, to learn as much, if not more, from the host or the other guests as I share myself. Because I find that if I don't have at least one aha moment while I'm having these conversations, then Max didn't show up that day like he should have, because this isn't just meant for me to share my stuff and encourage your audience. This is meant for me to learn from you and for us to have a closer connection when this is over with, which is one of the reasons why I encourage so many people to do conversations like this, to be interviewed, because you do have an opportunity in a way that you don't anywhere in our world to get to know somebody, to become friends with them, to start a relationship with them. This is the best way going. And even before Corona, for a lot of people, this was the best way to make these connections. Just for example, in the last month, because things have accelerated since Corona, which is great for me, because as a blind guy, I've always been more online than face to face. So this has been really cool for me to go from being the guy stuck in his house behind his laptop to the guy who is the cool kid telling everybody else how to do it. So that's been fun. But in the last month, I've done interviews with people in Karachi, Pakistan, Jerusalem, Israel, several in Australia, Ireland, Scotland, just so many places around the world that I've been able to share with hosts and with their audiences because of these conversations. And then when it's over with, you've made a new friend. So I'm really blessed to have this opportunity, Michael. And I wish I could say your name, but my Texas accent just ain't going to do it.
Don't bother. That's why I left that name Michael. I understand. Lewis, yeah, I really want to ask you this question, Lewis. Lewis, can someone who is depressed give thanks? Can they see the reason why they can give thanks despite they're depressed?
When you're depressed, you can open a dialogue with yourself, and that helps the energy move forward from stuck to moving. In depression, everything is stuck, like locked up, like in a closet, as you aptly put it. But when you start the energy of talking to yourself, talking to the depression, it starts movement. And so you have a crack in the egg And that's, if you can do that, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. So high sadness, high I don't care. Talking within yourself opens up the door, so you have the possibility of being more grateful and then eventually into love. You need movement when you're stuck. Am I explaining that okay for you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's a tool that we can use to get conversation. Like, you just said, that conversation is our humanness, and our humanness is our gratitude, and our gratitude is our love. So why not use the greatest tool we have, is speaking. And when we speak, our energy starts to move. As you notice, depressed people don't talk.
True.
So if I can get them talking only within themselves, that is huge, because then it grows. We are human and we are to be social. So we are leading into ourselves. And that's where we need to go, rather than backwards into the hole of depression and shame and guilt. I'm needing to get people out of that hole. But it doesn't come sometimes it comes quickly, but in the most severest case, we have to get people to talk within themselves. Also, you can show pictures of them to themselves, like when they were younger, and that helps a depressed person to realize that they have had other states than this depression. They were laughing as a child. They have it within them to see that they were happy as a kid, or they were riding a bike as a child. And it helps their mind to remember that this state that they're in right now is not the only state they have ever had. So that's a very good way also of helping someone out of a state, so they can even find gratitude. You can't ask a depressed person to be grateful right away, because it's not going to work. They're not even able to take the first baby step. And I agree with everyone. Once we reach that level, we're grateful for the trees, the flowers, our air, we breathe. We have no problem. The problem is when, you're depressed. I've been there, and I was just happy because I had a pill to take away the pain. That was my happiness. And that happened for a long time, until I was able to talk within myself. And then, the gratitude is normal, because we're human. We're designed to be that way. And once you reach this level that we're at, we're just like happy campers.
Yeah, but I need to jump in here, because from my own personal experience, and also something I've heard other people say to me, is I want people to understand, even when you get to this level where you are practiced, a veteran of finding things to be grateful for, of having gratitude, there is nothing wrong with having 5 minutes of doubt or 24 hours of doubt, because there are going to be things that happen that are totally out of your control, or that are not as much in your control as you thought they were when you began them. And you're going to feel like a failure for different periods of time. And when that happens, that's when you have to fall back on whatever practice or routine you use to be grateful in the first place. And that's why I love you mentioned it was something you do in small amounts to begin with, but it's also something you never get away from. If, some of us, we have to be reminded of that every so often. That, wait a minute, that gratitude thing that was working, I'm depressed or I'm having a bad week because I forgot to use it, So, but I think there is a danger of some of those quote experts out there making it seem like they never have a bad day anymore. And the truth is, you still have them. You just have better ways of dealing with them now than you did before you started practicing gratitude. And so I hope people will understand that they'll start practicing. And I liked what you said about visual images. And for me, it's not so much visual as it is mental. But I think one of the biggest traps people fall into is they are watching these movies in their mind, and every single one of them is a soap opera. Every single one of them is the worst thing that ever happened to them, instead of replaying those positive days and events like you suggested.
Thank you. That's true. Yeah.
Now, Obiamaka, can you hear us? I hope you can this
I
time.
can hear you. Yes,
Good.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and I'm grateful for the network this time. Give us a reason why you are grateful.
Okay. I wanted to share a story based on what Louis just talked about. I had this experience once several years back, probably like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, about that time, yes, I was on a balcony in a building. I was alone, and I started having these dark thoughts come to me. It was more like, look at your life. What has your life amounted to? At this point, I was already a Christian. I was actually doing well for myself, but the thoughts came anyway. And with it came all the bad things that I didn't want to think about. And before I knew it, I was shedding tears. I was crying because of the thoughts that came to me. I was going into what you call depression.
Yeah.
And it just occurred to me that, hey, you're crying. Why? And I decided, okay, maybe I should look for the things to be grateful for instead. And I started thinking about the good things, the fact that I'm alive, my family, and I took myself from that position of crying to a position of smiling, and everything happened at that moment. So it's something that I tend to remember when those thoughts start coming again. I tell myself, you have a choice to keep dwelling on these thoughts and feel bad and feel depressed, or to find the positive aspect of it and be happy. Okay. Personally, I'm grateful for life, and I'm grateful for salvation. The fact that I have a relationship with God that came through Jesus Christ dying for us and giving us that opportunity to know Him. Because when there are storms all around, what do? I look unto God. Dear Lord, help me. Take me through this. And I see things happen that turn around. And also, I hold on to God's word. There was a time I had a miscarriage. Okay. After I had my first child, I conceived my second child, and I was going to have the baby. But along the line, I had a miscarriage. And when it was happening, what kept me was a Bible verse that came to my mind in Romans. It says, all things work together for good to them that trust God. It's something I had memorized and I had meditated on. So while I was having that experience, the Bible verse just came to my spirit. And I believe that even though what I'm having is an experience I don't want to have, which I'd rather not be having, I chose to believe that it was working together for my good. So I'm really grateful for God's word that is there, for the Holy Spirit that lives in me, okay, that guides me, gives me directions, and helps me live my life as a Christian. These are things I'm grateful for. Last year, my mom passed on. It wasn't a nice experience, okay, but I was able to hold on to God's word. And even though I was sad and crying, I was grateful for the life she lived, for the time we had to spend with her, and for the fact that she got to put her trust in Jesus Christ and would be in heaven. So I looked at the positive aspect of it. So, like I said, I'm grateful for salvation, the relationship I have with God. And in those dark times, when things seem to be going bonkers, I hold on to God's word. I hold on to my relationship with Him, and I trust Him that everything is going to be fine. Thank you.
All right. Lewis,
Yes.
how can gratitude change the world? Changes from all this.
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Since gratitude opens the door to love, and we don't shut it, right? No matter
Yeah.
how close we get, which, you have reminded us of that. We keep open. We keep it open. Love comes. If we have love, real love, not thinking love, heart love, soul love, it's a difference. You have to, and that's where gratitude takes us into a more of a feeling love than a mind love. If we have that love, shame and guilt can't have a presence upon earth. Okay? That
Yeah.
is their kryptonite.
Yeah.
Okay? Their kryptonite. Y'all understand Superman, right? That's kind of okay. So that's how it can change the world. But we're not going to do that totality. It's going to take you and me and other people, and then we continue. It's contagious. It's contagious after a while. And the time at this time in history, astrology wise, is the time that love does take over. That's why it's so important for us now to do what we're doing, to bring it to the public, because love does win. And this is the time in all of history that we have humanity has the opportunity to regain its full rights. That's my 2 cents.
Right. Well, if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Mind Closet 101. So please, the audience, I'd like you to please feel free to send us your comments, your questions, your experiences on our Facebook page, Mind Closet 101, Facebook page, and our YouTube channel, IBM TV, YouTube channel on the Mind Closet Show, and also on the IBM TV. Feel free to also get to me on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Bro Watching ML. Send me your messages and we'll read them out here. Now, Max, Lewis said about the heart love and not like the mind love, right? Lewis,
Right.
that's what you said. Didn't you?
Yes.
Now, this question goes to you, Max. Most times people kind of want to appreciate or show gratitude, but it's really, really not from their heart. How do we know when it's from the heart and when it's not from the heart?
Well, I think the Greek word is agape. It's because they had different words for love in the Greek language, and this one refers to the deep, empathetic love for another human being or for your fellow man.
Yeah.
So, if we're talking about love, understanding, gratitude from the heart, we're talking about actions that that put the other person first. We're talking about doing something without any thought of reward, without any expectation that they will do something in return for you. Really, we're doing something for somebody else who can do nothing but say thank you. I mean, we have no vested interest in the outcome. Our total goal, if we're talking about heart-centered approach to anything, is what is best for the other person. And putting somebody else's needs ahead of your own needs is not easy. It's not something that I think most people do naturally. But like anything else, we can make a choice to aspire to be a better type of person, to be a better human being, even in a world that seems like where everybody is just out for themselves for as much money or material wealth as they can accumulate.
Yeah.
But we have to decide, and of course we've used the word decide a lot today because it pretty much applies into anything that affects your character, your personality, and your growth. It all comes down to a choice in all these things. But so we have to decide: are we willing to put the other person's joy, happiness, well-being ahead of our own, even if that means that we make things more difficult for ourselves? And it isn't easy, but it's one of those things we can do with practice, with effort, and with thought. So it is kind of a dual threat, because the love comes from the heart, but we have to use our brain and our discernment and the reasoning mind that God gave us to remind ourselves to focus on the heart, to see other people with our heart as opposed to seeing them with our eyes, as the Bible references. And I do hope that more people will try to see others as human beings rather than as members of a political party or members of a given race or ethnicity. It really does all start as seeing the person without seeing the person. I mean, it comes down to not even being influenced by the tone of voice or the other person's accent, which is one that I personally struggle with because I get so much of my input from audio. But over years of practice, I've gotten to where, to me, every new voice is a potential new friend. So it's one of those things. It's hard. It takes practice, but it really does come down to just seeing the other person as an individual, as opposed to seeing them as part of a group or as part of something other than yourself.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Obiamaka, you have to unmute your mic. Your mic is on. You attend Christ Embassy, and that's Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. I know him to be a preacher that talks more about gratitude, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh. Hello, Obiamaka, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, yes. Now, I know gratitude has been preached more and in your church. How do you see it in other churches in Nigeria? Is gratitude really being talked about in church? Okay, she's gone. I think she got a bit, the network is really bad. All right, Louis, let me ask you, how is gratitude being preached in churches in America? How often do they preach about gratitude?
In my experience, okay, and I haven't visited a lot of different churches, okay, I can only speak from my experience and also my background of being Catholic. I was raised Catholic. What I usually receive from the sermons at church is, what have you done wrong to make, it's more or less telling you you've done wrong rather than what you've done good. And if you're being told you've done something wrong, you're not going to be very grateful. If you are told you've done something you did really good, coming to church, you did really good in helping your neighbor, you tend to feel a little more grateful.
Yeah.
And that's my experience. And I think the church, I'm saying collectively, is becoming more of the you did good rather than you did bad. But I feel like that's still, we need to repent. We need to, yes, we need to be aware of our negativity, but that is really more pronounced, in my opinion, than the positive aspect. And that I don't hear the word gratitude. I just don't hear it. So I'm very, very grateful to you, dear pastor, because I can't say your name either.
Pastor Michael will be great.
Michael's okay. Um, I'm very grateful to you, Michael, for allowing me to speak and other people to speak, because gratitude is the whole crux of everything. If it's the doorway to love, how you going to get to love if you don't have gratitude? I don't know how you're going to do that one. So that's what
True.
God told me. So um, that's my opinion. And I don't get gratitude out of church unless it's more of a community church that sings a lot and there's more camaraderie. But again, I'm talking from my experience.
Experience. Mm. Now,
Does that
Obi
answer?
Amaka, back to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Obi Amaka, back to you now. Now, your church talks more about gratitude. How do you see other churches in Nigeria and the way they preach gratitude, and how can gratitude really um, help the church help the church in spreading the gospel? Because I believe if we believers in Nigeria can really understand the meaning and apply it in our lives, I think Nigeria will be a better place and the world at large. So, what's your take on that? Hope you got my question. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, just talk. We're listening.
Well, basically in church we talk about Thanksgiving. Like when you pray, you're
Yeah.
encouraged to give thanks to God. Okay, you give thanks. Okay, so there's this. Then we have Thanksgiving services that are intentioned at specific time of the year to thank Him for their lives, and most often with an offering. Now, we in the light of preaching the gospel, expressing gratitude. You asked Louis a question on how gratitude can save the world. And personally, I believe it is very key because when you're thankful for your life, you're thankful for what you have, you would not be in competition trying to outdo your neighbor for any
Whoa.
reason, but rather you will show love to your neighbor
Yeah,
because you're
yeah,
grateful for your neighbor as a person. Okay.
yeah,
And even
yeah,
if you have some minor disagreements, you wouldn't go fighting your neighbor, but you would rather be grateful that they are there and find a way to work out your disagreements. And the key thing about preaching the gospel is showing love, and a grateful heart is able to express love. Like Jesus said, by this shall men know that you're my disciples, when you have love one for another. When you're grateful that someone is in your life, when you're grateful that God has brought people around you, you'll be bound to relate to them with love, agape. Okay, this transcends feeling. It flows into being kind to someone. The person may not even be kind to you, but you choose to be kind to them. You choose to be patient with them because you're grateful that they are in your space. You try to find something positive about them to be grateful for. Okay, even if the person seems to be the most unlovable person around, you still find something about them to be grateful for, and you treat them with kindness. At a point, the person is going to wonder, why are you being so nice to me? I can say, well, Jesus Christ died for you. Would you want to get to know him? And he says, well, if this Jesus is the person making you behave this way, I should get to know him. And you've already preached the gospel. You've won a soul to the Lord. So I believe that gratitude is really key. And Christians in Nigeria and all around the world should embrace gratitude, gratitude to God, and also thankfulness to the human beings around them in their community, in their sphere of contact, and treat them with kindness as much as they can and live with peace. Gratitude will save the world a lot of conflicts. Some conflicts are
mm,
totally unnecessary. But if
yeah.
we work in gratitude, we would like to preserve our communities, we would rather preserve than fight, we would rather seek peace than go to war. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
All right, Max. Do you have enemies?
Do I have what?
Do you have enemies?
You know, that's an interesting question. I'm going to answer it in just a minute. If it's okay, I'd like to comment a little bit on what you just asked about what the different faiths teach about gratitude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. When I was thinking about what the other lady said. When I was growing up, there were preachers who actually preached from the pulpit that people with a disability like mine, either they had sinned or their family had sinned. So definitely not much gratitude there, and which is probably why me and my family weren't really churchgoers for most of my life. But over the last 5 or 6 years, I had done some searching and came to my own understanding of faith and built my own relationship with Jehovah God. And so in our church, we do teach a lot about gratitude, but, not just for God and for our lives and for this wonderful planet we live on, but also for the Holy Word, the Bible, the Holy Spirit that gives us so many abilities that allow us to be the person we are, such as patience and joy and self-control. And so I'm really glad that I'm part of a congregation where gratitude is not only taught, but is taught often and is taught as something that is given to us as a gift. The ability to be grateful is a gift that we get from our God. So I'm glad to see more congregations and more religions are teaching it. Although some, especially the mega churches, are teaching it more as a mindset. Think and grow rich kind of approach, as opposed to being grateful for what you have. But that's a whole nother subject. But I love this question about, do I have enemies? Because I want to preface this by saying I don't want an enemy. I don't want a troll or a hater or a group of people online who go after me just because I'm me. But I have never really had, since I left the carnival business, I haven't had an enemy. When I was in the carnival business, my cousin was my enemy. We competed against each other for bookings. And just imagine any soap opera where families backstab each other, that was us. So one of the things I was grateful for when I was no longer part of the carnival business is I no longer had any enemies. I still don't have any, but I think part of it is I've realized that carrying a grudge, it just takes up space in your mind and your heart that you could be using for something more positive.
Yeah.
So if somebody wrongs me, I'm going to try to figure out, why did that happen? Is there some way we can fix it? Is maybe I can use this to teach the other person something. But, carrying a grudge is just a waste of time and energy. And, the other lady referenced Superman. I'd like to reference Star Trek. They have a race in the Star Trek universe called the Ferengi, and the Ferengi are all about making money.
Yeah,
everything they do is about making wealth.
Yeah,
and the Ferengi have a line. It says, "There's no profit in revenge."
Whoa.
So if everything you do is about making money, and you're willing to say there's no profit in revenge, to me, that's an important line.
True.
So
True.
I don't have any enemies. When occasionally somebody does get in my face on social media, I respond to it with kindness, with a polite, reasoned response. And I usually have to talk my friends down off the roof to keep them from, just yelling and screaming on Facebook or Twitter or something, because it's just not the way I do things. I would much rather have a conversation, shake your hand, hug you, get my way with a smile and a good argument, as opposed to having 1,000 people yelling and screaming at you and telling you you're evil. That's just not the way I want to do things.
Because why I asked you that question was to ask if you had one, and if you had one, are you grateful for that person? Is there anything grateful about your enemy that you might have? As you don't have, that question doesn't go to you anymore.
Yeah, but if I did have one, assuming that I did something to cause that person to be an enemy, I could be grateful for what they have to teach me. Because, we talked about it earlier. We can learn we can grow, we can bring enjoyment out of any person, event, or experience if we decide that we're going to. So if I had an enemy, then I would try to follow the Bible's example, which is to basically kill them with kindness, drown them with water. So I appreciate the question, and I really do sincerely hope that I never have a real enemy. But if I do, I'll definitely get back to you and let you know how it turns out. Again, I'm not asking for one. I'm not praying for one. I don't need one. I would much rather have somebody who thinks they're my enemy be my friend, or at least be a civil acquaintance, because I believe that there's something we can do to help everybody. We can encourage them. We can lift them up. We can build them up. And sometimes we can just ignore them. Sometimes the best thing you can do for somebody who's heck bent on being negative and offensive is to just not give them the space in your head or your heart, or to borrow, considering online terms, just not give them the oxygen in the room or the space on your online space.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Lewis.
Yes.
Do you have enemies?
I don't think it's really enemies, but I have some people that are jealous of me.
Okay.
And that I do not enjoy, because my purpose in life is doing my job, and I don't really compete with anybody, because I'm only competing with myself to do a better job each day. That's what I compete with. So yeah, I don't know how you would phrase it, but I guess you could call them enemies, but they're just jealous people of me. And I'm thinking, why are you jealous of me? My God, I had all this pain and anger. My goodness, I had so many broken bones and pain and emotional problems, and you're jealous of me? Like, really? Give me a break. But I don't know. It just is. I think because I made it, and I turn lemons into lemonade. I mean, that's what we do. I do. I don't understand it, and I really haven't figured it all out yet, but I just always am grateful. I say, someone says an unkind remark, and I said, thank you so very much. That's very interesting. And that's about it. I don't give it any fire. Unless it needs clarification. Truth is always told. I always tell truth. Well, hopefully I tell all truth. But any negative comment, I just say, that's very interesting. Thank you so much. And let it be. And if there's a communication, I continue with that. But if there isn't, I just said, thank you very much. That's very interesting. I don't really get into it, because then you're just starting a fire. That's really not necessary. Like you said, then it has no, but if it has a reason and this God is teaching me something and I'm learning something, okay, I'll follow it through. But if it isn't, then I just say, thank you so very much. That's very interesting remark. Have a good day.
Yeah.
That's all I can, that's where I am today at 2020.
Wow, that's beautiful and awesome.
Yeah.
Obiamaka, the same question goes to you. Do you have enemies?
Okay, well, physical enemies, no. Okay, we know the devil is a common enemy, trying to incite people against you. And like Louis shared, I've also experienced jealousy, which wasn't really a pleasant experience, especially if it was coming from someone who you believe should be your friend and who should be happy for you. And then go around and do something, probably just made a progress or you just recorded a result, and they wouldn't say anything to you, but then go behind and do things that show that they want to be where you are. I've had occasions where I stumbled on conversations, overheard things that were being said about me, and it wasn't funny. And I was tempted react, and talk to the people. But I thank God the Holy Spirit put that restraint in me, and I just walked away and I forgave them. Okay, that was what I learned. The last one that happened, I chose to forgive the person. I really wanted to retaliate. I
Yeah.
must be honest, but I had that restraint in me, and the Holy Spirit said, "Pay back with love. Don't retaliate."
Mm,
And
mm.
that was what I did, and I'm grateful for that. So that's it.
Good. Wow. It's
Mhm.
I really love everyone here for their responses because some people, I like the way Louis just broke it down, saying she doesn't have any issues, but she has people that are jealous, and the same thing with the Biamaka. I believe Max as well has people that do envy him. It's not as if that they're really
Are
enemies
you
because
serious? Are you serious? There are people who are jealous of Max because I've never run across these people. I'm serious. I'm not just saying it to be saying it. I really and now that I've heard you say it, I have to be really thankful that I haven't run across that. But I do know that when people are jealous, it's because they're comparing themselves and their situation to me and my situation. But maybe the reason I don't have people that are jealous is because I spend a lot of time making sure people know that I had to go through a lot of stuff to get to this point. So I recently had a conversation with a guy who's an icon in his field, and when I first started talking to him, I was like, "Man, you've never had a bad day in your life." Well, I found out he had lots of bad days in his life. He had struggled through a lot of adversity, but he doesn't talk about it. So maybe the fact that I talk about my struggles more is why I haven't run across somebody who's jealous like the other two ladies.
okay, let me ask you this. How often do you talk about gratitude? How often do you talk about being grateful to people, to your audience, on your podcast, on your shows? How often do you talk about them?
All right, is that question for me?
Yes,
All right.
Max, yeah.
I would say I talk about it pretty much every time I turn on the microphone because it is such an important part of how I got to where I'm at now. And one thing I'm known for is mentioning other people's names and websites during my podcast or during my interviews on other people's show. And that's not because I'm dropping names to make me look better. And it's not because they're paying me, because none of them are. It's just that without those people, I wouldn't have gotten to this point, or I wouldn't have gotten here as quickly as I have. Because even though I still think I should be accomplishing my goals sooner, I know
Yeah.
for a fact I'm much farther along than I would have been without people like Adrian Smith and Lorraine Reguly and Ashley Fox and Joe Park. And I could probably name 30 more people who have shown up, have been those angels people talk about. They've shown up and helped me solve a problem or answer a question or make things a little easier on myself to get to that next stage. And without all those people, I wouldn't be here. So gratitude is a big part of who I am, how I do this. I talk about it quite often. One of my favorite sayings is that a vision board is useless without a gratitude border.
True.
And what
I
I mean
believe that.
there is for people who don't know what a vision board is where you put photos of things you want to accomplish where you can look at them all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But you need to put pictures up there of things you've already accomplished to remind you of how far you've come. So, yeah, I'd say pretty much every time I put on my headphones, I'm going to talk about gratitude.
Hmm.
Or I'm going to show it even if I don't talk about it.
I understand. I understand. Lewis,
Yes.
how often do you talk about gratitude? In your ministry, life, people, your talk shows, how often?
All the time. In my personal life, I can't find my cell phone and I find it in the kitchen on the table. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful. I found my cell phone. I mean, I'm just grateful for not getting lost, while I'm driving. Thank you. Thank you, God. I did good. I did good. Um, it came sort of from being so negatively raised that
Hmm.
there have to have so many positive statements to negate one or two negative statements. That's been
Hmm.
proven. I don't know what the exact number is. I think it might be 2 positives for 1 negative, but don't quote me on that one. But I had to go through a time in my life where I just told myself I'm good because I ate breakfast. I'm good because I found the milk. I'm so good because I didn't get lost. I'm so good because I only got lost twice, not 3 times. So you can be as creative as you want. And I did go through that period of time and it did help. So I guess you can say that led to gratitude. I was so far down that I didn't know about gratitude. I just knew I was bad. And to counteract I'm bad, and I had to say I'm good. And that's why my movie's called I'm Good. So maybe I'm good as a precursor to gratitude. I don't know that. But in my life, that's what happened. I had to keep complimenting myself for just getting up in the morning. And eventually I got into gratitude. And now I'm just like, oh man, that's so cool. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I'm together and have a great cup of coffee. I did really good. Can you still hear me? Ooh, sorry.
Yeah, we can.
So gratitude is just part of me. And in my ministry and my counseling, I help people connect with themselves, and that automatically does gratitude. Because I found that when you tell people you got to be grateful, they look at you like, yeah, really, lady. They don't like to be told that they're swimming in dirt and they're having great crisis and they're great. They look at me like I just lost it. So I have to go around the back door to get the front door. And so that's when I bring out this and this and this, and they go, oh, I feel really grateful. And I went, oh, that's so nice. So they found gratitude. I didn't tell them they had to be grateful. That's very important.
I understand.
You can't get preachy.
Yeah. Okay. This is the last question. Then we'll be wrapping up for the show. Now, there's this. Okay, I don't know how to say it, but let me just try and break it down. I think I was listening to administration. I've forgotten who really did that. Who really gave that sermon, and I can't remember if it was a secret or what's his name? This Asian preacher. At Singapore, Corbin. I've forgotten actually. His name is off my mind, but it will come back soon. I think I was listening to either his sermons or I was watching The Secret, and it said something like, "Be grateful for what you are expecting." That is, if you're expecting something big, you should be grateful for it. Just for instance, I remember my first car. I didn't have a car then, so I really needed a car. So after my request in prayer, asking God for a car, that should help me, let me just be able to afford a car. I started giving thanks in advance for it, and it eventually came. So now my question to both Max and Lewis is, how does it work? Is it really good that you really give thanks for things you're expecting? And what's the miracle involved?
Who do you want me to answer that one, Mac?
Yes, go ahead.
I can answer.
No, just you talk, then he'll talk about it.
Okay.
Also, so.
I think it's always good to expect, but that's kind of a double-edged sword, because the best things in my life, especially these days, well, all through my life, is that they were all surprises. Like meeting you, Mike, was a surprise. I went, oh, that's so cool. I like that. I expected my life to evolve, but I didn't. It was just part of me that expected. I didn't keep saying I'm grateful for the expectation. I'm just grateful for the present. And when you're grateful for the present, that echoes to the future. I have a harder time telling God what to do. I'm grateful for this time right here. And then that moment creates another moment. And that moment creates another moment. So as long as I'm on the grateful path of today, I'm good.
Mhm.
And I think if I would do the expectation, I'd be like forcing it and being upset that it's not here today. It tends to bring that in. I'm not saying it's wrong to be grateful and expect it. That's probably okay. But I think the moment by moment is really the way energy works. And if we're grateful right now, we're grateful the next moment. And I can keep the gratitude going easier that way than putting it out there. I hope Samuel calls me, or I hope somebody calls me, I can't, that doesn't have as much effect in my life as moment to moment gratitude. It's like the
Okay.
train keep on moving. And if I'm
Yeah.
going the right direction, I'm going to get what I'm supposed to get.
Okay. 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 All right, Max, you go ahead.
Sure. In the Bible, it says faith is belief in things
Yeah.
not yet seen.
Yeah.
So in the Bible, we're encouraged to pray for those things. And of course, it generally refers to praying for the return of God, the bringing of God's kingdom here on earth. But I think that you're probably right, that we have to be thankful and we have to give the prayer of thanksgiving for things that haven't occurred yet. God says that with prayer, He will give us the joys of our heart. Now, He will also not give us things that are more difficult than we're capable of handling. So He knows our needs,
Yeah.
but He still wants us to respect Him, to come to Him in prayer and ask for the fulfillment of those needs, expecting that once asked, He will take action to fulfill those needs. And in your case, it was a car, but you weren't focused so much on thinking somebody's going to give me a car. It was,
Yeah.
find me a job so I can buy a car, or maybe a relative has a car I can borrow. I think that there's nothing wrong with praying with expectation, as long as you don't get too focused in on what the expectation looks like. I like to call it the lid of the puzzle box problem that some people get trapped into. And I know very few people do jigsaw puzzles anymore, but the box would have a picture on it of how it was supposed to look when you were through. And I think a lot of people, when they pray with expectation, they're expecting a specific outcome as opposed to praying for an opportunity or praying for their needs to be met in whatever way God decides to meet them. I like to say one of my least favorite questions when I'm interviewed is, Max, what are your plans for the future? And my answer is very simple. I try not to have plans for the future because God's dreams are always bigger than mine. And I don't want to limit Him by saying, this is what I want, and this is the only thing I'll be happy with. So I do believe in praying with expectation, but also with a general idea of what I'm praying for. Because God will decide to meet our needs in many different ways. And lots of times in my life, it's been by putting people in my path or putting opportunities in my path. Sometimes it's been by new clients, being paid for work that I thought I would never get paid for, people showing up and doing business with me when I needed them to. So His love and His help can come in so many different ways. And we should definitely be praying and praying with thanks for his love and his help, and praying with the expectation that He's going to provide our needs, as long as we don't try to tell Him what our needs are.
You think so?
I think so. As too many times in my life, He has presented me with the solution when there was no way I was going to get out of a particular situation on my own ability.
Okay. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking, telling Him our daily needs or what we need helps us get those needs solved. Don't you agree with me?
Yes. Yeah. we're encouraged in Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount to pray daily for those things.
All right. I'm going to ask just one more question. Then
Sure.
we'll be off. Louis, what are you
Yes.
grateful for in the future?
I am grateful for so many things. I'm grateful for love in the future, love from family, from people, love for completing and love for doing my job, love for completing it, making it happen, making the things that I have planned to come into fruition, to see the outcome of what I planned today. So yes, I have plans and I have goals, and I've had them for many years, but now to see them happening is my greatest joy. So I'm very grateful for my health to be able to accomplish those goals and then continued health. And all of it, just grateful for being and living in the space of in service. It all comes in its
I
own
understand.
time. And that's my biggest lesson. I wanted it yesterday, but yesterday is not only the way it's supposed to work. You got to strategize it. And I'm not the best strategist. So I got to rely on the times telling me when it's time to do what I need to do or what to say when I need to say. Because I have many things sort of in the clock that are time sensitive. So I have to rely on guidance for what I'm doing. And I agree that expectation is a big deal, but you have to be careful of that. That's a rocky boat because you can get very creative and forget that there's another force working with you.
Okay.
Oh, somebody's phone's ringing.
Sorry, it's mine actually.
Okay. I'm going to have to leave soon,
Yeah.
Pastor.
We're almost done. We're almost done. I just want Max to tell me what he's grateful for. Then we'll all share our social media handles and we'll leave.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
Max, what are you grateful for in the future?
I'm grateful for the people that I am hopefully going to meet as a result of being here today and having a conversation and being present in this moment. I'm grateful for the opportunities that are going to show up, the lessons I'm going to learn. I'm grateful for the journey that I'm going to continue to be on and the struggles that will be out in front of me, as well as the people that will help me with the struggles. I'm grateful for having good health and meaningful work to do. And I'm grateful for the fact that I'm still a work in progress. I still have so much more to learn about myself, about the world, about the people in it. And that I am blessed with the ability to, at this age in my life, to still learn from other people. So I'm grateful for those opportunities. And I'm grateful for whatever that next dream is going to be put in my heart. Right now, I'm grateful that Corona has actually made me busier in my online work, helping people get exposure on podcasts and other online platforms. And I'm grateful for whoever that next client is going to be, because I love helping people discover the power of their stories and tell their stories better. And so I'm grateful to have meaningful work, good health. My financial needs are being provided for. God has been taking care of me and my family very, very well, without a lot of bumps in the road for quite a while now. So I'm just grateful for the experiences that are to come and what I'm going to be able to learn from them, what I'm going to be able to teach other people. I'm kind of a forward-thinking person as opposed to a current or past. So I'm always thinking about what is going to be the next opportunity or experience or person that God puts in my path, and I'm grateful for them, regardless of how it turns out, regardless of what they think of me, or how we get started off in our meeting or whatever. It's always an experience, an adventure. It's always something to be enjoyed and savored, and I'm so grateful that I have been taught throughout my life to have such a grateful approach to everything in my life, even the stuff that I wish had never happened to me. And that specifically doesn't have to do with the visual impairment, just has to do with some of the disasters and failures I've had. To be able to appreciate it all is something to be very grateful for. And then also to know that that I have a good relationship with God at this point in my life, and that He continues to protect and provide for me.
Wow. Actually, I'm grateful for having you wonderful people on my show. And actually, I wanted to comment on this. I'm grateful for coronavirus, because if there was no COVID-19, I won't be connected to the IBM TV, and Mind Closet 101 will not be on. So my own being grateful for the future is beautiful things coming, with good health, meeting beautiful and awesome people like you guys. So I think my future is bright and beautiful. Thank you, guys. I really want to thank everyone for joining us on today's show.
You.
Yeah, before you guys will leave, we'll start with Louis. Louis, please give us your social media handles. Where can people really meet you? Tell us, where can people really meet you?
At my website, Lois, LOISHOLLIS.com. That's LoisHollis.com. And on there, I have many videos and contact information, free seminars, free interviews, sessions, and free ebooks. So that's the best place to shop.
All right. Let me use this opportunity to ask you here, please. Louis, can you join the medical show right now? It's on. Can you join them? My producer is asking if you can join.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. If I could do what?
Join our medical show. We have a medical show going on now, Friday.
Oh, next Friday, yeah. Today.
No, this Friday.
Yeah.
You're out. Oh, all right.
Next Friday's okay. I have to look at my schedule, but I think I'm okay. Send me the info via email, and I will check my schedule. That would be fun.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Max, where can people really meet you?
Right. They can go to theblindblogger.net. They can send an email to justask@theblindblogger.net. They can find my podcast at whatsyourexcuseshow.com. But everything feeds back to the website. I do hope that people will reach out to me, because they don't have to want to hire me or book me or buy something from me to connect with me, and hopefully we can learn from each other as we go forward. My primary thing that I do is teach people how to be good guests and help them tell their stories, because the world needs more stories like yours, Michael, like Lois's, like mine. And too many people are waiting till they feel like they're good enough to start sharing their stories and encouraging others. And I'm doing my best to try to help people get past that fear and that excuse. And so people can reach out at theblindblogger.net.
All right. Thank you guys for.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate your show, the effort you put into it, and the joy with which you have approached all the technical stuff today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm
very
grateful.
Nice.
God bless. All right. Back to the audience. Actually, we're almost done with today's show. Sorry I didn't give you a story, an African story, as I normally do, but today we're going to talk about today's in the history. Today in history. So today in history, in 1850 Congress passed the second Fugitive Slave Bill into law. The first was enacted in 1793, requiring the return of escaped slaves to their owners. Same in 1793. Today, in 1793, George Washington laid the foundation stone for the U.S. Capitol. In 1830, September 18th, Tom Tom, the first locomotive built in the U.S., loses a nine-mile race in Maryland to a horse. Same in 1961, UN Secretary General Drag Hammarskjöld is killed in a plane crash while attempting to negotiate peace in Congo. In 18 September 2010, Mwande Waziri, a business and a politician, died in Saudi Arabia. He was the chairman of All People's Party in 1999. He represented the old Gongola state in the Senate. That's he's a Nigerian, actually, so this is for Nigeria. But in the world, all over the world, in this day, 1981, France abolished capital punishment. In this day, 1989, Hungary began a transition to a Western-style democracy. And in this day, 1993, the Australian Prime Minister announced plans to move Australia a republic by 2001. Yeah, so that's for today. Please don't forget to send us your questions or experiences that you want us to discuss. We promise not to disclose your identity. So send them to mindcloset101@gmail.com or on our Facebook page, mindcloset101. Or you can send it to me, or you can also send it to our Facebook page, IBM TV Facebook page. Address it to the producer, mindcloset101, and I promise your identity will not be disclosed. You can also send me a message or a mail on my social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. From watching the Melu, you find me there. Send me a message, and we'll talk about your problem, your experiences, your questions on the show next week. Before we go, it's a tradition to tell you a proverb, an African proverb for the week. So this African proverb for the African proverb for this week is: a restless feet may walk into a snake pit. Meaning, if someone is busy doing nothing, if someone is busy doing nothing or is involved in what he does not know about, it is easy for him to get into trouble. So just be careful. I'm sorry I didn't share an African story today because we were short of time. We came in late. I promise you next week we'll do that. But don't forget to still stay tuned to this channel, because next is Med Friday. Join us, and as we talk about medical issues all over the world. And before I go into the next telling you about our stations, we on Mind Closet 101 want to wish our amazing and wonderful producer, Mr. Nguyen Fan, happy birthday, as he will be a year older tomorrow, 19th of September. Tomorrow is his birthday, so Mr. Fan, I wish you happy birthday in advance. Don't touch that dial. Keep watching IBM TV for more exciting, educative, and inspirational programs. On Monday, we have Economic Monday radio talk show with Mark Lee. Don't miss it. It's really interesting. On Tuesday, we have World News COVID-19 Celeb Tuesday, where we have celebrities from all over the world. Join us. Don't miss it. If you really want to get to know more celebrities, I advise you don't miss that show. And on Tuesday, we also have Chess Without Borders with Jim Ed. If you want to get to know more about chess, you want to learn, or you need more, how should I say, history about chess, don't forget to join Jim. On Wednesday, Startup Wednesday and Weed Wednesday for those entrepreneurs that really want to, get to boost their business and know how to start. Don't miss it on Startup Wednesdays. And on Weed Wednesday, if you love weed, join on Weed Wednesday. On Thursday, we have Podcast Thursday, where all podcasters from all over the world join and we talk a lot of things. We talk so many things. So just don't touch that. I'll be on next week, so don't miss it. On Friday, we have Financial Friday, Med Friday, and Mind Closet 101. On Saturday, we have Spiritual Saturday. Chess Stars with Sasha is a world champion. I advise you to stick to his show. It's also interesting. We have DJ Saturday Live. Yes, so if you're a music lover, well, in Nigeria, actually, there are no more clubs. Yeah, for now because of COVID-19. So I advise you, just watch, party, have fun on Saturday. And we also have Starry Saturday. On Sunday, we have Super Sunday and the Alexandra May Cafe. So she's actually an artist and a musical artist, and she gets to invite other musical songwriters, producers, artists to the show, and they talk about music. So if you're a music lover or you're inspired to be one, don't forget to join her on Sunday. Don't forget to also like our Facebook page, Mind Closet 101, and also the IBM TV Facebook page. Don't hesitate or forget to click the notification button on the IBM TV YouTube channel. Please do. And follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Brownwatchingemelu. Well, that's all I can say for now. Before I go, yeah, today's Friday. What would you be doing with your Friday? You've heard you heard our guest today, and we talked about gratitude. And I'll advise you, and I'll tell you the truth, always be grateful. Even if you have challenges, be grateful. I did one time have a challenge in life, and I was grateful for that. Immediately, I was appreciating that problem. I had it, and I knew I was going to have a solution. I got the solution to that problem. And it has been something I do practice in my life. It might look odd or sound odd, but I promise you the next time we're going to talk about it. Don't forget to show gratitude, no matter how little, how big. Be grateful for the air you breathe. Be grateful for the roof that you stay under. Be grateful for your government. Be grateful for your country. Be grateful for being who you are. Be grateful to your God. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Be grateful for the food you eat. Some people have not eaten. Some are still looking for what to eat. Be grateful. You have a car, be grateful for that. If you don't have, be grateful for having a means of movement. Yes, you can see. Be grateful for being whole. On this show, we had Wayne. Wayne had cerebral palsy, yes, but she's grateful. Yes, she's grateful for her life. And that was what motivated her to try and give a voice to the disabled. Today we have Max. Max is blind, but to tell you the truth, he's grateful. And if you heard him say it, he's grateful for everything that happens to him. So if these two are being grateful to God, what about you that is able, that is watching, that is listening? What are you grateful for? Comment on our Facebook page and also on all Facebook pages, My Closet and also My Closet 101 and also the IBM TV and also on our YouTube channel, what you are grateful for. And I promise you, your life will have a new meaning. I'm grateful for COVID-19 because if there was no COVID-19, there will be no Mind Closet 101 and there will be no IBM TV. So tell me why you're grateful. Till I meet you next time, same station. God bless. Adelis, Sinus, Kaba, Cardelo Numa. God bless you. Signing out, Brown watching the Michael. Bye.